Welcome to the Sweepers and Tankers podcast. This podcast covers topics on the street sweeper and sewer cleaning equipment market. Now let's welcome our host, Matt Starnes.
Hey, welcome, Jake Ost of NCL Government Capital. How you doing, Jake?
Hey, not too bad. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining us on our inaugural video version of the Sweepers and Tankers podcast. So just, for folks who aren't aware of you or what NCL does, can you give us a quick little elevator pitch or what you do in a nutshell?
Yeah, absolutely. So NCL Government Capital is a new name for us. We were National Cooperative Leasing for over 20 years. We recently rebranded our name to NCL Government Capital to really tell a story better who we serve, and that's the government agencies. So NCL Government Capital, we specialize in government financing. Unique programs available to all government agencies, city, states, counties, K through 12, higher education, federal and tribal. And the unique thing about NCL Government Capital is our ability in specializing government financing. We actually hold a contract through Sourcewell, the only one of its kind.
Okay, yeah.
Very similar to Municipals also has a contract. So it really, to sum it up, NCL, we are a preferred government lending institution for many vendors out in the market. We work very closely with them, their dealers, and providing solutions for customers is really what it's all about.
That's fantastic. And at the time of this recording, we're in October here, start of Q4 for a lot of folks, and they're planning. COVID's still around. What are you hearing when you talk to, let's say, municipalities? Kind of what's the word on the street as far as what you're hearing about budgets and projections for 2021? I know obviously it's going to be tighter, but what are you specifically hearing? Because you talk to so many different types of people too. Correct.
Yeah, there's, the discussions we have are great. It leads me to get some great information on how we can assist customers. Every municipality is different, was affected differently with COVID. But you're correct. A lot of the conversations come down to, this year a lot of the money was budgeted for and allocated to make purchases. Some were cut this year, some were, didn't purchase equipment because of it. But looking forward to 2021, it's going to be a little bit harder for a lot of government agencies, because of the sales tax revenue is still not known. There's a lot of people still working from home. They're not shopping as much. The online sales is more. So it's definitely been affected many government agencies. There are pockets in the United States that seem to be business as normal, but there's still areas that, they're really not doing much. They're not, the government agencies aren't having their meetings. They're not passing any resolutions to purchase equipment. It's kind of like a freeze, so it's kind of scary out there a little bit from time to time, but at the same time, that's why we're here. At the end of the day, these government agencies still have to, provide a service for their citizens, and essential equipment is needed. Very similar to the equipment you guys sell. I mean, you need clean sewers and you need clean streets to keep it moving. So, that's what we're here to assist with. So definitely looking forward to 2021. It's going to be unique. That's for sure.
Yeah. So Jake, how do you just briefly, how do you solve for some of those problems as far as when you hear, okay, we've got a shrinking budget for town of X for 2021. So what are, just at a high level, what are some of the things that you guys can do to help out?
That's a great question. And, I love understanding, where the constraints are, where the struggles are, and the pain points, because once we know those, we can really customize every solution to meet a customer's needs. Helping them understand by, certain, like a tax exempt municipal lease, you don't have to budget for the whole process and only have to budget for, the annual payment, which, helping them understand that helps that budget process a lot. But also something that we've done a lot of that I believe will be a huge solution for customers in 2021 is, deferred payments. Customers can get essential equipment now or at least place the order, get that order, get it to the manufacturer so they can get moving on it and not make a payment for 12 months. I mean, what a better situation to take advantage of, record low rates right now. Combine that with deferred payments for 12 months. If a manufacturer dealer has the equipment right now, not having to make a payment till next year, next October 7th, if you closed on a deal today. I mean, just think of that. That
Wow.
gets you a full another fiscal year that you don't have to budget for any equipment and could be using it. So,
Yeah, that's a really good point too with the finance rates going down. I remember, just even I moved at the end of July, and my wife and I bought a house, and I mean, we got a really low rate, and we were able to buy the house, which was wonderful. But that also is true of, like you're talking about, these essential equipment, like, let's just say street sweepers, sewer cleaners, and winter equipment. But yeah, can you talk a little bit about that? How people can kind of lock in that great rate right now, and really kind of, I guess, pay on that rate, if I'm correct there, or?
correct. Yeah. So what we do to help out a lot of our customers to be able to take advantage of that. It's not, got to think about, outside the box a little bit too. It's not always the rate. It's also rising equipment costs, because every year normally equipment goes up in price. That's never going down. So, what we do is we work with the customer. We get a payment schedule put together for them. We, provide them final documents to sign. Once they sign those documents, we actually fund it into an escrow account. That protects their rate and payment. That can't change. So even if the payment's deferred for 12 months, or we got to order the equipment and it's a 6-month lead time to get the equipment, and what if rates go up 0.5% or or a percent, with election year, it's everything is unknown after this, and because of COVID, obviously, as well. But it's a huge solution for them to be able to take advantage of that. What I tell customers is just think about, we'll throw 3% out there for a random number. Just think about, if you can finance equipment for 3%, but next year or the year after, that equipment's going to go up 3 to 5% normally every year. Well, if you push a purchase out for 2 years, on a $300,000 machine, say, well, you're actually spending more by waiting a year than you are just purchasing it now and financing it. And we have, great programs available, tax exempt municipal leases. We do FMV leases, whatever it may be. We're going to find the solution to match that customer's budget and their real needs. So we do kind of take a fine comb through everything, and that's what we're here to do. With our focus on that, we customize everything. Nothing can be the same for any, 2 government agencies. It's all going to be different. So
That's so true. Just from even on a marketing side, helping the sales team work on some of those deals, and you've been pretty instrumental in a lot of our deals. And I think one of the things is, and myself included, when you say leasing, and we've chatted offline about it, and you've helped me understand it a lot better. But I think I was naive. I was thinking, oh, this is like a car lease. I've got to make sure I don't get a scratch on it, and I only have 1,000 miles for the whole year. All those kind of connotations you have, but that's not really the case, is it? When you're talking these lease, it's really more like a financing type of situation.
You're 100% correct. The word lease, traditionally we think of you and I going out to a car dealership, getting a vehicle. You have it for 36 months. There's a balloon payment, or you have restrictions on mileage. When we're working with municipalities, yes, that structure is available. It's called a fair market value lease. But at the end of the day, most and majority of our solutions that we provide, it's called the tax exempt municipal lease. To be honest with you, it's really a glorified loan with the non-appropriation clause included. But that's the structure. The legal name is a tax exempt municipal lease. It's the lease to own. It's a dollar buyout. The customer has ownership day one. We're just a secured party. So, that's the advantage with them being the owners of the equipment versus a fair market value lease, like we're traditionally used to hearing the word lease. So it really comes down to ownership, and because of that, they can take advantage of a better rate. We can get them a better payment program put together, and at the end of the day, it's a great solution for them. So,
I definitely agree. So when I think about what you guys are able to do, how can really, you mentioned a little bit, touched on a little bit before, but how can municipalities save their money? Let's say they have $300,000 for a street sweeper, let's just say. Because you've told me offline really how you can actually get a lot more for your money by doing financing and approaching it that way. And I think people might be surprised at, especially municipalities, of how much value you can get of taking this approach.
Correct. Yeah. So, I mean, if you're thinking about if you have $200,000 in your budget to purchase a piece of equipment, you really can, with that $200,000, leverage that and get about normally 6 times that amount of equipment. It seems like a big number, and obviously they don't have to take advantage of that totally, but by financing, you don't have to take it, use that capital money. That could be used for, especially now in times of emergencies. There's a lot of government agencies that didn't budget for buying maybe $20,000 or $50,000 worth of PPE equipment. That wasn't needed a year ago.
Yeah.
So that's the way you got to think of it is, if you're budgeting for a $200,000 purchase, understand that, in a tax exempt municipal lease to own, really only have to budget for the annual payment. And if we can defer that for a year, you're really not budgeting for it for next fiscal year. So, $200,000 purchase, you really maybe need to budget, let's just say $40,000. Well, all of a sudden, now we have 160 left over that, what do we need to do with that? Okay, you can use that for emergency purchases. If a vehicle breaks down, you have extra cash available. And, or maybe let's use street sweepers for an example. Maybe there's really a need for 2 of them. You really should replace 2, but you're only going to replace 1 because that's all you had in your budget. Now you have the ability to utilize that. Cut the maintenance costs from old equipment. Maybe your repairs are costing you $5,000 to $10,000, if not more a year. Let's get rid of that old equipment, and put yourself in a good situation where you have the advanced technology. Emissions keep changing. So everything really gets affected, and, the solution is there. And also keep in mind, in a tax exempt municipal lease, I referred to it a second ago, the non-appropriation clause, we include that with all our documents. And it's very important for, government agencies to understand that that's available because, it allows them to have the annual appropriations of the lease payment, which they have the ability to utilize operating budgets over capital budgets. So they can, choose where they make their payments out of, and that might help them. Maybe the capital budget is depleted, but there's extra money in the operating funds. Well, you can make a lease payment out of your operating budget. So there's so many advantages to it. It's a great conversation to have. I appreciate us doing this today because it's another way for customers to understand the benefits of leasing and financing, because it's going to be really a great tool for them moving forward. It has been, this summer and fall, but I truly believe in 2021, it's even going to be a larger solution for many agencies across the nation.
Yeah, a lot to unpack there, but I think just a wealth of information there, and we'll actually put this up on our website, buchermunicipal.com, and we'll put it in the financing section there, so people can, if they missed it or want to watch it again, they can watch it there. Also, we'll put it on YouTube. But I think just a lot of really good information. And yeah, to your point, sometimes we hear that when we're out because we have kind of a larger solution line at Bucher. So people will say, well, I've got money for a street sweeper. I also need a sewer cleaner truck, tanker. Or they might say, hey, winter's coming up. We're up here in the northwest, northeast, and we really need a plow. So I think what you're talking about is really beneficial for those folks, and they might be able to afford both and not have to wait and not have to get into a much more expensive, like you're talking about, situation where they're having to constantly repair and, I don't know, duct tape, flux tape, something so it can, so it can last.
Yeah, really it just comes down to, leverage, helping them leverage their money to get, all the essential equipment they need when they need it, not waiting years when costs keep going up. That's the true value of it, and understanding the whole process will bring them great value. So
good deal. All right. Jake, anything else you think we should cover or add on?
I mean, if customers have any questions, I would just say, they can give me a call anytime, 320-763-7600, or my email is just jake.o@nclgovcap.com.
Excellent.
And
Excellent.
really, to close it out again, appreciate the opportunity to do this. This was great. I think the information is great, and partnering with you guys to provide solutions for your customers has been wonderful for me, and a great relationship we have built. So
We definitely appreciate it, and look forward to helping folks find those solutions they need, especially moving into 2021, because I know the holidays are going to be here pretty quick for 2020.
yeah, it's approaching quickly for some reason.
Yeah. All right. Well, Jake, thank you so much, and we would love to have you back on, most likely on a quarterly basis as we go through 2021, and whether we do video and audio or vice versa. But we're very excited, and thanks again for joining us.
Hey, thank you very much. You have a wonderful day.
You too.
Thank you for listening to the Sweepers and Tankers podcast. Please rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Google Play Music, or whatever awesome podcast service you subscribe to.